This question is from Catherine. Catherine said, I'm 81 and I have a history of AFib, including a heart ablation 14 months ago. I currently take Xarelto, torsemide, and Lipitor. Since coenzyme Q10 is known to interfere with blood thinner Warfarin, is it also a concern for those of us taking Xarelto? Thank you, Catherine. Well, thank you, Catherine. All right, so is CoQ10 a problem with Xarelto?
So she is correct in that there is a potential issue with CoQ10 and Warfarin specifically. Warfarin works kind of like a seesaw. So on one side, Warfarin pushes down to delay blood clotting. And on the other side, there's vitamin K that pushes up on it to promote clotting. So because CoQ10 is structurally similar to vitamin K, the thought is that your liver almost views this like some sort of vitamin K mimic. So to what extent this can cause issues is very much, up for debate, but it is worth considering, especially in the context of, maybe adding CoQ10 or adding a really high dose or those situations specifically. A good analogy here, and something you hear more frequently with, I know her question's not directly talking about Warfarin, but this spinach issue. Okay. So there's nothing inherently wrong with spinach. Spinach is a health promoting food. But again, this is something that can very much change the effect of the drug Warfarin while taking it. So because spinach has a lot of K? Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The issue isn't that the person eats too much spinach to be well controlled on Warfarin. The issue is just that if you were suddenly, if you were well controlled on Warfarin, which takes a lot of drug monitoring and blood level monitoring, if you were to add a large amount of this, so a large amount of vitamin K, that would then throw off, how the drug would be functioning. And so again, it's not that CoQ10 would have the same magnitude of effect. It's just that, this is kind of how we're looking at it.
You just want to avoid that. But that's not so
right. And
so that's the extra. That's the bonus.
That's the bonus. She kind of wrapped those together. And so essentially we just need to now look at her particular anticoagulant, and that's the Xarelto. So Xarelto is distinct in that it doesn't have all the messiness in its mechanism like Warfarin. And so because it just inhibits one specific clotting factor, it bypasses all of this vitamin K issue.
Got it.
So there's no issue then with the CoQ10 mimicking vitamin K, because we're just talking about a completely separate pathway, if you will. Now, CoQ10 does in and of itself also possess mild antiplatelet properties, but this is again different, and this is much less of an issue. For most people, it's not going to be an issue at all. So again, one of those things worth mentioning, one of those things that if you Google, you'll see some mechanism as to how CoQ10 can act,
theoretically.
Yes. But as far as, hard outcomes, adverse effect reporting, all of those sorts of ends of the spectrum, no issues, with antiplatelet activity. No reason to think that we're going to be increasing bleeding risk.
Am I correct in thinking that she says she's on Lipitor? I seem to remember CoQ10 being a good thing to add when you are taking Lipitor. Is that, am I remembering right?
I'm assuming that's why she's asking about that supplement specifically. Yeah, I think it's just key to understand that whenever you talk about blood thinning, largely or broadly, that it is typically prudent and accurate to say, well, this supplement is a blood thinner, or this new medication I may be on is a blood thinner, and I'm on a blood thinner, so they're additive. I think that's always important to kind of go through. So related to, again, Warfarin is just such a specific mechanism that then when you get one level deeper, it doesn't matter. So I think, though, again, back to the kind of broad blood thinning aspect, CoQ10 is not a concern. But I'm assuming, if you're kind of listening and you're buying supplements, there are a few still to watch out for. And even though it's not an actual interaction, it just can have some of that additive effect. So just be careful with fish oil. definitely would be number one. It can reduce platelet aggregation. So like many things, we typically aren't recommending mega doses anyway. And typically at lower doses, you're okay, but just something to be aware of. Ginkgo is another one.
Okay.
And also turmeric and curcumin. And sometimes that doesn't quite, add up because you're not using it for anything cardiovascular. You're using it for pain. I'm taking this pain, but also like with any of the NSAIDs, it's always something just to be aware of. So good on the CoQ. Just watch those other ones.
Love it. Love it. I hope that helps, Catherine. Thank you for watching.